If you are defining the new style of IT for the coming years, you have to be aware of the trends. Find out what they are next on HP Tech Talk. Welcome to this episode of HP Tech Talk. I'm Andy McCaskey from SGR News, and this is the series where we explore the ways that HP is defining a new style of IT. Oftentimes we talk with tech experts in storage and servers and networking and cloud, but today we're going to be talking about combining all of those with one of HP's channel partners in the San Diego area. Introducing Dan Molina. Dan, tell us about Nth Generation.
Well, thank you, Andy. Nth Generation is a full enterprise solutions provider. We're mainly based in Southern California, servicing the mid-size and the enterprise size customer, as well as the public sector. We focus on the mega trends, as you mentioned, Andy. That includes cloud, it includes mobility, security, and the latest with big data.
Why is it so important for a CTO to be conscious of these trends? What has brought them to the forefront?
Enterprises need to continue to be as efficient and as cost sensitive as possible. These mega trends are introducing new challenges to a lot of our customers. Most customers are being asked to do more with less, and this has been happening over the last decade or so because of economic reasons. Not only that, but they need to continue to innovate. They need to continue to go to market faster before their competition. And one of the ways to do that is to leverage the opportunities that these megatrends bring to the plate. So our customers, we feel an obligation to continue to do research, continue to bring the latest information to them so they can make more and better informed decisions for ultimate business results.
Do you think that they're trying to adapt to new opportunities, or is it more of a defensive action of mitigating risk and ensuring their business continuity?
It is both. It really depends on the type of customer, industry, the size of the customer, but we deal with the different types. There's the early adopters that ultimately want to leverage this opportunity to gain a competitive advantage over the rest of their competition. There's other clients out there that feel that if they're not adopting the latest technologies, that they're going to be falling behind. And also security, out of the four mega trends that I mentioned, security is probably the most sensitive to most of our clients. So they are taking a defensive action.
It would seem to me that those who were particularly innovative or kind of the early adopters would be particularly interested in both cloud and mobile. Is that their primary focus?
Yes. I would say mobility is probably a little bit stronger, at least in our customer base. Cloud is becoming prevalent, no doubt, but it's probably a little bit of a slower adoption. I believe that because of the strong mobile workforce out there, employees are pretty much in a stage where they're demanding their employers to deploy a mobility policy throughout their company. They need the flexibility to use their personal devices at home or at work. Therefore, that's created quite a challenge for many enterprises where they need to not only manage company-provided devices, but also employee-owned devices. But I would say that customers have been testing with cloud. They've been educated with cloud. They have some success stories with cloud. but mobility is probably one of the biggest pressures they're facing right now.
I would expect that there's some things that they think would be very easy to achieve that are challenging. What would be some misconceptions that customers bring to the table that you have to work with them to understand how they're to be addressed?
At first, it might sound easy to allow employees to use their own devices. That becomes a misconception when they start facing realities of having to support quite a number of different types of end user devices. We know some of the big players out there like Apple, Android-based, smartphones. Microsoft is coming in pretty strong. They're going to be here to stay, is my opinion. And there's tablets, there's the regular smartphones, there's other type of phones. And so we go in there and we try to talk to them about the importance of setting and defining policy that is uniform across the whole mobility deployment.
Well, tell me a little bit about your company. You have been in the IT world for a number of years, and I suspect have seen a lot of changes. What do you think is the most significant change, say, in the past 4 or 5 years?
So our company has been in business for 22 years. We started as a highly available computing solutions provider. We then expanded to enterprise storage in the late 1990s when SANs became very popular. We've been doing business with Digital Equipment Corporation and then with Compaq and then with HP. So we've been following the HP path for quite a long time. StorageWorks was extremely successful back in the late 1990s. And that actually made our company quite successful here in Southern California. After that, we expanded into networking, thus completing the converged infrastructure, as HP has been touting that term for quite a number of years. I know there's other players out there who have been doing the same, but me personally, I started looking into the converged infrastructure probably 6 or 7 years ago, and that came from even the Compaq and the HP days during the merge. I would say that we have expanded our solutions in the last 3 to 5 years, precisely to cover these megatrends that we're talking about. Networking, I already mentioned, such a key component, even though it's part of the infrastructure, for mobility, for security, for big data, for cloud. Networking is such a key component. So that's definitely something that our customers are needing more and more help with, because they're seeing more bottlenecks, they're seeing more challenges providing quality of service for their applications, and in many cases is network related. We have also added our security practice, again, to answer the challenge regarding that topic.
So in your security practice, what are you seeing that's different today versus just a few years ago?
Hackers in the past used to do things to claim fame. They wanted to draw attention. They wanted to feel like they were able to get into somebody's system and maybe get access to some information. But they would be vocal about it. They wanted to be recognized about it. Today, hackers have turned into not only that, but in many cases, they want to leave as little and as small footprints as possible, because they want to be hacking enterprises for as long as they can and trying to exploit them and actually get some financial benefit out of doing that. And there's a very clear trend in that direction.
So it looks like all of these trends come together in the software-defined data center. How are your customers expressing interest in that trend?
I would say our customers' main goal is to increase agility. They need IT to respond faster to the business needs. One way to achieve that is to implement a software-defined data center. IT needs the converged infrastructure in place so that when they need to make changes to the environment, they need to install new applications that are needed by the business, they can do that an order of magnitude faster than what they have historically been able to do. Probably only 3 or 4 years ago, customers would have probably about 4 weeks, in some case up to 12 weeks, depending on the size of the organization and the type of organization, to get a new application up and running. That includes the planning, the design, the procurement of the equipment, the infrastructure, the lead time, the installation, the testing, the validation, and finally getting that online. Today, with the software-defined data center, you can change that number of weeks or number of days into literally minutes. Once you establish that software-defined data center, you are in a position to fully automate or automate to a very large degree your entire IT operations. You can create what is called a private cloud, and the software-defined data center is the foundation for the private cloud. You can also have a software-defined data center outside, and you can call it a public cloud if you want to be servicing other customers in a multi-tenant environment. But my point is that the software-defined data center is what allows agility inside IT.
From your description of your background, it looks like you started in the world of storage, and that might explain why our next guest here, that the two of you have linked up, most recently at HP Discover. This is Calvin Zito, the HP storage guy. And Calvin, you had a separate podcast episode with Dan, didn't you?
I did. I met Dan a few years ago, actually, at an HP event, and have had a relationship with him for a couple of years, and have attended some events that they do at Annual Symposium that we'll talk about here in a second. But took the opportunity at HP Discover to actually bring Dan into the Bloggers Lounge, and we recorded a short podcast that you can find on my blog.
Dan, when you were at HP Discover, what did you think was the most exciting product that was announced in that location?
Well, first of all, before even talking about product, I would like to comment that I went to see Meg Whitman's keynote, and I was totally impressed. She really defined the new style of IT in a way that is very easily understandable by just about anyone. And talking about these megatrends that we've been talking about, she pretty much addressed how those megatrends are addressed by the new IT technologies. So one of the things that I was talking about earlier is the need for IT agility. That basically is a foundation for getting companies the competitive advantage that everybody wants, right? Depending on your type of organization. And in order to get to IT agility, you need to be sure that you can provide quality of service to your applications. Quality of service depends on infrastructure, among other things. And infrastructure, a major component of that infrastructure is your storage. I was very happy to hear that HP announced their new solid state storage based three-part array, which is designed not only to run solid state storage, but also the controllers are designed to optimize the traffic, the I/O traffic for that device. The other thing that I liked about that announcement is the storage QoS. We were talking about the importance of ensuring application QoS, the response time, the latency times, capacity based, and all that is now provided by this new three-part functionality. So now you get enterprise grade storage, enterprise storage functionality, as well as the performance that you need, and also the storage tiering that is very important to a lot of clients.
How have your customers been reacting to that particular offering?
Basically, they say, I need enterprise grade storage, but I also need it to be price sensitive. I would like to get started, not that big, but I need the ability to scale. And it's very easy for us to basically talk the three-part story for that, because it will meet those requirements. You can start small, in department style type of applications, small businesses, all the way up to the largest enterprise that you can think of.
What sort of response are you getting to the software-defined, the Store Once product?
It's almost like a checklist nowadays that people need data deduplication. And the Store Once now has provided additional flexibility with the BSA, the Store Once BSA. It just really gives you the flexibility to install it in existing infrastructure if you have it. And the ability to be able to deduplicate data at the different layers, at the client or at the target, just provides the flexibility that our clients need. So it's taken very positively from our clients.
Well, Calvin, I know that you had an exciting time when you were at HP Discover, as you do each year, but you're getting ready for an exciting couple of days coming up here very, very shortly.
Yeah, Andy, I had mentioned a few minutes ago about Nth Symposium, which is the big event that Dan and his team at Nth Generation put on in Southern California for their client base, and I've gone to it for several years. I actually heard rumors that Meg Whitman would be doing a keynote there this year, and once I heard that, I thought, what a great venue to host some bloggers. And so we are actually bringing a group of about 11 bloggers to Nth Symposium. The day before Symposium starts, we're going to do an HP Tech Day with a deep dive on storage. We're going to spend the whole morning talking about the technology in 3PAR that Dan mentioned he's so excited about. And then we're actually going to spend the afternoon talking about golly gee, software defined, and talking about what we're doing at HP to help enable a software defined data center. So I'm really looking forward to having the bloggers there. But more than anything, I think this is probably going to be the best symposium ever, and I don't think Dan's going to hesitate to agree with me on that.
The 13th annual event, this is by far probably the largest one that we're going to be hosting. It's a 3-day event. The first day, we've had the honor of having Meg Whitman as one of our keynotes. She's going to be keynoting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We Enterprise Solutions Showcase. All the technologies that we've been talking about, Andy and Calvin, are going to be showcased live at the Enterprise Solutions Showcase. We have 56 demo stations ready to go for the show. On Wednesday, we have David Scott, who is, of course, the former CEO of 3PAR, and he heads HP Storage, keynoting on Wednesday. We also have a special guest from VMware, who was the founder of Nishira, who is known to have helped in a very big way to define the software-defined networks. He is also a big contributor to OpenFlow. So he's going to be keynoting on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have the head of HP Labs. We're very, very honored to have Martin Fink keynoting on Thursday to share with our customers and a lot of our HP friends the roadmap of what's coming down the pipe with HP. We're talking about all these megatrends. Well, technology is needed to be able to address those megatrends. Some fascinating technologies are coming down that are going to be shared by Martin on Thursday. So full solutions event. We also have tutorials where we do live demonstrations during the sessions. For the first time, we're doing a self-paced demo lab where we have 50 stations prepared, and we're going to give our customers access to probably over 200 different pre-recorded demos and click-through demos. The whole point is to educate our customers so they can make better informed decisions on what technologies to purchase.
Well, and my understanding is that you're going well beyond traditional education, that there are actually an opportunity for at least some of your customers to get a much clearer picture of HP's direction through NDA sessions.
We believe in education. We believe in informing our customers as much as possible. And if an NDA is required, we're going to offer that as long as our great partner HP agrees to it. And we use the formal documentation needed, the formal signatures, the ID validation. But we share this information because for our customers, it's really important to know what's coming down the pipe so that they can make important purchasing decisions.
One of the things we didn't speak about as a trend was big data. Is that going to be included here as well?
Absolutely, Andy. Big data is a major mega trend that is being covered during the symposium. One of the key goals is to help our clients understand the value of the opportunity with big data. To many enterprises, big data represents a challenge. And to many enterprises, they see big data as basically data growth and data explosion that they have to manage, the traditional backups, the traditional disaster recovery, remote replication, and so on and so forth. But big data refers to so much more than just the increased amount of data that it needs to be backed up and protected and recovered. Big data represents the opportunity to go out there and exploit what some people call dark data. And dark data could be inside the enterprise and data that is just sitting there, but it's not really being used for the business. But the other thing is social media. There's so many other new types of data that is being generated out there, the Internet of Things, that provide insightful information that makes better business decisions. We have technologies from HP Autonomy that are pretty much mind-boggling, and we're going to be showcasing those live. We are very proud to be working very closely with HP to integrate HP Enterprise Security Solutions with HP Autonomy. In particular, we're integrating HP ArcSight with HP Idle Engine to be able to take security solutions to the next level. Not only doing log tracking and correlation of millions of log events, but also applying the idle technology to make more human meaning information out of that data and better protect the businesses. So there's 98,000 tweets happening every 60 seconds. There's about 700,000 Facebook updates. There's 11 million instant messages. There's about 700,000 Google searches happening every 60 seconds. Companies can leverage a lot of that information. They can get into what is called social awareness and find out what their customers, what their prospects and others are thinking about their products and their offerings, and they can take immediate action if they see a negative sentiment that is being built out. Those are some of the things that we're going to be covering heavily at the symposium. We have some of the VPs and product managers coming from HP Autonomy for this symposium.
Well, Calvin, once again, can you go into a little more detail as far as who some of the bloggers are that will be attending the event and where people can learn more about all of the activities at the symposium?
Well, there's going to be a whole load of them coming, Andy. A couple of people that you might know is Nina Buick, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for HP Connect, Brian Knutson, who is one of the leading VMware bloggers, who I think you've met at HP Discover last year because we had him there. Our good friend John Obeto is going to be there. John's always great at these events and always asks great questions. And one other person I'll mention, and I know I'm not including a bunch of them, but you can read who they are on my blog. One other person I do want to call out is Jeffrey Powers. Jeffrey is actually going to be live streaming our Tech Day on Monday, and he'll have that on his YouTube page, which I believe is youtube.com/geekazine. And I have links to all this on my blog where you can read more about the agenda of not only Nth Symposium, but also of our Tech Day that we're doing on Monday before Nth Symposium kicks off. Who would be the keynote speaker for Tech Day? You must have read my blog. I'm actually going to do it. I have not in the past actually done a whole lot of presenting at these, but I'm really passionate about HP storage. And a couple of weeks ago, I was asked to do a keynote for an internal event for some of our field repair guys. And I kind of started thinking about that this would make a great kickoff for the Tech Day. So I'm actually going to do a session talking about why I am really excited about the direction and strategy of where HP storage is today. Dan, thanks very much for joining us and giving us some idea of what Nth Symposium is going to look like. It's going to be very, very exciting. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy that show, but I know none more than Calvin. But Calvin, I have to ask, what are you going to be doing after the symposium? I've gone to it for 4 years in a row, Andy. This will be my 4th year, and every time it's tough because my hotel room is overlooked the Disneyland park, and I don't get to go because I generally get on an airplane and fly home. But this time, after Nth Symposium ends, I'm going to Disneyland. Okay, thanks. Thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you next time here on HP Tech Talk.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Calvin.